Wisdom Walk principle today is, true faith begins at the edge of our comfort zone. Jimmy, faith is like a rubber band. I have always loved rubber bands. They're one of the greatest inventions ever. They're simple, practical, and useful. I always keep a rubber band around my wrist. But my habit took on a brand new meaning this past year when I noticed a friend of mine who was also wearing one. When I asked him why he wore his rubber band, he said it was a constant reminder that God wanted to stretch him daily. Rubber bands are pretty useless unless they're stretched. When they are extended beyond their standard form, they can actually hold things together and accomplish their purpose. After hearing my friend's response and his reasoning, my rubber band took on a whole new meaning.
And faith, like a rubber band, is useless unless it's stretched. When we step out of our comfort zone, we're forced to rely on God more than ourselves. And this will be a true test of faith. Scripture tells us that Jesus was astonished only twice, once for a man's great faith in Matthew 8, and once for a group's lack of faith in Mark 6. The Roman commander in Matthew had so much faith that he asked Jesus to just speak words of healing and his servant would be made well. He believed that Jesus could heal even though he was miles away. Now that is rubber band faith.
Amen.
In Matthew 8 verse 10 it says this, "Then Jesus heard this, he was astonished and said to those following him, I tell you the truth, I have not found anyone in all of Israel with such great faith."
True faith begins at the edge of your comfort zone. When we're willing to go to the edge and be stretched, God does what we can't do. We need to engage in situations where we will actually whisper ourselves, God, if you don't show up, I am bound to fail. I cannot do this on my own strength. It's hard to have rubber band faith because we often rely too much on our own abilities and our own talents. We focus on our strengths instead of focusing on God's power and presence. When we have rubber band faith, we have an opportunity to see God do supernatural things, to do the things that nobody can explain. And we'll immediately respond at that moment, only God could do this, instead of I did it.
That's right, and we are made to be stretched. Ask the Lord for rubber band faith, the kind of faith that requires a moving of God's Spirit. Be bold and courageous. Step out. Let God stretch your faith so He can accomplish His purposes through you. Be a wisdom walker. It's time to be stretched. And remember, true faith begins at the edge of our comfort zone.